This podcast is brought to you by listeners like you through Patreon and Coffee.com. Thank you. We're also brought to you by Libris Arcana. Stay tuned during this podcast for more information and promo codes.
And shall I still roll a survival here?
Yeah, with advantage because you are following a road. 14, that is good enough to not suddenly go off the road and get lost and find yourself like amongst goblins or something.
And Nark will be keeping an eye on the coast as he walks.
Yeah,
Something about the coast.
The coast is always to your right. It is a fjord or a sound, depending on where you are and how they named it. They actually call this Swordfall Bay. It's actually, even though it's a cold day, it's a nice day. You can see the world around you. There are like bits of forest here and there. You go over a small river, and you pass by a few quaint cottages, and as you travel, you see a town in the distance, and you see that near the coast, there is a large, fancy-looking building with many, many luxury boats.
Oh, it appears that this is a fairly wealthy town, or at least there's some wealth here. Doesn't it, Muldra?
She perks up her ears, and if she could blush, she probably would. And you keep going down on top of her, and she's just taking her time. She's taking in the sights and sounds. There are merchants going back and forth from Chipton to Swordfall. This seems like a well-used, busy road. You're never really alone on this. And as you get closer, it isn't a walled city, which is kind of weird. There are a lot of walled cities around here. You just notice that a lot of the houses are multi-storied, are well constructed, and it seems like the houses are just built very well. There's also a large guard presence here. They are all wearing they kind of look like guards in Swordfall, but they have a different color scheme, which, I don't know. What kind of color scheme do they have, Dork?
Well, let's see. I would think that they would have, let's see, something probably prestigious looking. We'll say a white and blue type of color scheme.
Cool. Probably a royal blue.
Yeah, or a royal blue of some sort.
And like gold, like details and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. The gold linings with white and royal blue, and
yeah, and they probably painted
very clean.
Probably painted their armor in like a white enamel. It's super fancy, but there's
the
lot
white
of
almost
them.
Looks like pearl.
Yep. And there's a lot of these guys on the street. I mean, it almost looks like if there was a problem in this town, they would swoop in and probably take care of whatever is going on with their nice, shiny, almost what looks like to be untouched glaives.
Mm-hmm. Norik will have his hood back so as not to appear suspicious, and just be riding with dignity.
And
Gently.
you come in, and the guards actually greet you quite well. And hello there, fellow traveler.
Greetings.
Yes. How, do you need any directions to anywhere in the town?
Hmm. You know, I could use actually a sip of ale. Is there a place where I can go find perhaps a decent ale around town here?
Oh, naturally. You've been traveling for quite a long time, haven't you? And the weather is quite cold. Well,
Oh, it's cold, but it is a beautiful day nonetheless.
oh yes, the sun is actually fully out, isn't it? And there's not a cloud in the sky. And he looks up, and he looks very hopeful and happy. He must be a very well-paid guard, or he gets to brutally beat everyone who gets out of line. But hopefully you don't find out. Oh yes, the ale house that you want. Well, the closest one to this area is called the Traveler's Rest. It is actually quite fitting. A lot of travelers do go there.
Indeed, the name sounds fitting.
Yes, well, it's not as rustic as the Pig and Stein, but the Traveler's Rest is just a fine place. Fine place indeed.
I imagine rustic is not exactly the style of this town, I take it. So that is
Well,
just fine with me.
there are some people who like to hold to their roots and pretend they're still farmers. And he waves you on.
Have a wonderful day.
As I hope you have one as well. Thank you. And everybody actually seems kind of friendly, out here. They're just tending to their business. The bakers are putting freshly baked bread on shelves. Every window pane has a flower pot, flower display, flower bin, whatever, something with flowers. And it looks like they have all their winter greenery out. So there's a lot of evergreen branches bundled up into wreaths or different kind of displays. There is kind of the fresh smell of nutmeg and cinnamon coming from decorations. There are ribbons. It looks like they are getting ready for some kind of winter holiday.
Let's see. So, Norik actually will be trying to remember the more specific directions of where to go here to seek out this this residence where the tea set is.
Give me a history check. Let's see how much you actually do remember of all the instructions and where it is. 8.
Oh, same as before.
You have a vague recollection of where you need to go. You do remember fully the tea set and what it looks like, and the more you think about it, the more out of place it seems in this area. Because the tea set looks like, it was it looks like a very rustic pounded tin tea set with little etchings pounded into the side. It wasn't painted. It didn't have diamonds or anything encrusted on it. It was just very simple, very rustic looking. But the guard did say there are some people who try to hold on to their farming roots.
And I think Nark is going to take a mosey around town on Herberta. Just doing a little wave to any guards who may acknowledge him.
Yep, and you get acknowledged by all of them.
Just, being respectful and not suspicious at all.
Nope. You are being 100% good boy Norik.
And while moseying around town at a relaxed pace atop Roberta, Muldra, whatever, Nark will be keeping an eye out for the kinds of places, or maybe if it's just inside a window he might be passing by, or just the kind of places that may seem like he could find such a tea set.
So you kind of go to the north of town, more inland, where it seems like there are very nice thatch roof houses here. What some of the English would call chocolate boxes. They have the nice like dark thatch tops, and they're like whitewashed with like dark wood holding them up. They look very pristine and preserved, and they're kind of like, they didn't build them up, they just kind of built them out. So every plot of land looks like it has several houses on it, but really it's just the same residence. And you actually do notice that there are more horses kind of in the yards here hanging out. You notice a mule or two. Other than like four-legged animals that you ride or you use to pull carts, there's not really like, well, no, there is like a chicken or two just running around free. There are actually wild rabbits like munching on some of the flowers that are still out and about. And yeah, it seems pretty idealistic. We're going to pause things for a moment and have a word from our sponsors. This podcast is brought to you by listeners like you through Patreon and Ko-fi.com. Thank you. We're also brought to you by Libris Arcana. Do you like role-playing games but you have no dice? Are you a dice dragon and just need a horde dice? Libris Arcana has you covered. Libris Arcana offers both a monthly and quarterly subscription to get dice. Yeah, that's right. They send you dice monthly or every 3 months. They also sell individual dice sets and great leather protective book covers for your gaming manuals. Go to www.librisarcana.com. That's LIBRISARCANA.com to find out more. And if you use the promo code SwordfallFan, you get a discount. Look in the description below for more details. And now back to the story. Do you go a little bit out of town? Because there's still like houses more toward the north.
I'll go check it out.
Well, finally, you make it to a house. It almost seems like the last house before you go out of the proper city limits. And you go up a hill, just a slight hill, and suddenly winter has turned into spring right across the fence line. So here you are at a fence. It's a very like sturdy built fence, and in the middle of this area is another like thatched roof house that looks very nice. But inside the yard, there are just flowers blooming. You can do a nature check to see what kind of flowers they are, or a perception check to see if there's anything weird, or an arcana check to see if there's anything magical going on. Or you can do all of them and hope you get something above an 8.
I know. I'll do some investigation. See what I see about the property.
Ooh, 15. So, it looks like someone trapped springtime in their yard. It's really weird. You see all the signs of spring actually in there. There are birds that usually migrate out of the area that are in there. There are bees buzzing around, happy. Um, there's even a few rabbits that just kind of hang around, sniff at some of the plants, and you know, there's just so many plants and so many things blooming. But the oddest thing is, it looks like they're in a continuous cycle of blooming and dying and reblooming. And it takes you like maybe like how long would you stand there and watch this cycle happen?
Oh, just not standing there oddly long. Sort of slowly walking past, or slowly riding past, just staring curiously.
Yeah, you notice that, well, or you estimate within the course of maybe like 3 or 4 hours, a flower would actually like go through a full life cycle and then rebloom again just by watching it. And like as you're slowly going around, the front door finally opens. And standing there, watching you curiously, is almost what seems to be a young woman who is an elf. She has long, flowing golden hair. It's probably actually like kind of on that like reddish gold side.
Mm.
Her face is just wonderful and beautiful. She's wearing a few medallions around her. She's wearing a bunch of bangles. She doesn't look like some of the rich people that you've been seeing within Chipton. There's something odd about her.
Hmm. Does does she look my way?
Oh yes, and she waves.
And
Oh, hello there. Are you happen to be a halfling with an enchanted mule?
and the orc is kind of lean and look at Herberta and look back at the elf lady, and he'll say, "Well, I think that's about the oddest greeting I've ever received, but yes, in fact, we were admiring your yard here. It's quite lovely."
Oh yes, it's enchanted if that's the question you're asking. I like to keep a series of herbs on hand to help cure people. I mean, with medicine and doctors, how it is today, some people like to stick to the old ways. I'm Incuri, by the way. Incuri Hexdaughter.
Incuria Hexdaughter. Oh, it was a pleasure to meet you. Norik Valtzber of uh, shoot, remembering my town name. Norik Valtzber of Longbarrow.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, it's okay. Everyone made it out okay. Um,
Yes, but Kobold's attacks due to dragon orders are such horrible things. I mean, you can come in. You're not going to die. I'm not going to bite you. I'm not going to horribly trap you in a snow globe or anything like that. I know they say I'm a witch, but I'm just a healer.
oh, believe me, I've met and traveled with much more questionable. I'm not worried at all.
And you can set your mule near the trough. I'm pretty sure she will love to smell the mint near it and drink out of the water, even though I'm pretty sure she would probably actually like some biscuits, and she kind of looks almost knowingly.
biscuits, huh? As Norik looks towards Muldra.
Muldra kind of gives a look of, what is this lady's game and what is she getting at? Like, she's having all the suspicion here.
And Norik will whisper to Herberta, I know it's weird, but we will just be checking it out. And I'll be keeping my wits about me.
Well, come on in. I hope you don't mind. I already have a guest over. But she's a pleasant young woman.
Very well then. Then Norik will, I guess, having already dismounted Herberta to whisper to her, or Muldra, Mulberta.
Mulberta.
Will not tie her up at all. Don't worry about Herberta here. She's fine to stay unroped. And yes, I'd gladly love to come in.
And, she lets you in. She follows you. She closes the door behind her. And her small little cottage has a lot of square footage. It's filled with pillows and tables and some strange doors disconnected from everything else. And it's one room, and there's what seems to be a kitchen that's kind of a disarrayed mess, except for a few pieces that look like they're along together. And the sitting area, there's already a human, and she has kind of cat-like eyes. She has black hair. She's wearing a sneer on her face as she's looking at you, almost like she is looking at you like a cat looking at a bird through a window. And you can tell she is tattooed up. She has arm sleeve tattoos up and down. And she looks a little out of place in this kind of serene hippie atmosphere.
Pardon the intrusion. I was invited in. Norik Valtspur of Longbarrow. Pleasure to meet you.
Hello there. You can call me Edna for right now.
Well, pleasure to meet you, Edna.
And she takes your hand, and she has just the smoothest hands, and they are soft, and they are warm. And it kind of gives you a chill up your spine, because it seems like how she's touching you is the complete opposite of how she would treat you. It's like when a cat gently sets their paws on top of a bird, and you know that the cat's going to eventually slash its throat, but it's just toying with it right now. This podcast is powered by listeners like you. Thanks. Please like, comment, rate, share, and subscribe wherever you can. Consider supporting us through Patreon, Coffee.com, or by hitting the listener support button on our Anchor.fm page. Follow and interact with us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and Discord. For all these links, look in the description below. If you liked our podcast, consider listening to these other great podcasts.
Greetings, listeners! Are you looking to add more D&D fun to your lineup? Then be sure to check out Party Advantage, a D&D 5th edition play podcast featuring 2 campaigns alternating each week. In the Arius adventures, you'll set off into the land of Arius, from the ancient dragon gods that created this world to the rise and fall of various races and civilizations. This land has history that stretches far into times long forgotten. Our heroes find themselves on a journey that will take them to the busy city of gnomes, the gilded halls of the High Elves, and to the deepest depths of the Underdark. Then in the Farwind saga, you'll travel with our group of anti-heroes for their suspense-filled exploits as they explore the enigmatic continent of Farwind. This is an ancient land lost to the histories of Faerun, where mystery and danger shroud the deep forest, forbidden mountains, and dark mires. Yet every risk offers tantalizing rewards to those brave enough to take them. Will these parties gain the advantage on their next encounter? Find out every Wednesday on iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts. See you then.